Accuser of Oren Alexander wants him brothers to stay in jail and rape case. A lot more victims. I would definitely like for them to sit in prison for the rest of their lives. Said an alleged rape victim of real estate broker Oren, who asked local 10 to conceal her identity. I'm very shocked. I thought it was only going to be me, and there's a lot more victims, and who knows how many more. She's now sharing her story as the twin brothers face a federal judge for the first time Friday. And the 37-year-old has been charged in a salacious federal sex crime case. So they want a trial. They want to show the world that they're not guilty of the accusations. And then they go on this thing. We'll be back to prove that neither or they nor their brothers child or flight risk, right? There's a risk that the victims think should not be on the table, recalling her alleged assault with Oren back in 2013. After he asked her on a date to the famed Versace mansion, he invited me to go to the watchtower for the view to take a tour of the mansion. I went, and while we were up there, it was total darkness. That's when the assault happened, and he throws himself on me and assaults me. The victim said a police report was filed with the Miami Beach Police Department regarding the incident. Yeah, they're trying to say they're using law enforcement to advance their financial interests. I mean, what a I don't know. The lawyer had nothing to come up with, I guess. That's so weird. So now if you go to the law enforcement, it's going to be used as some type of defense. They went to law enforcement to advance their financial interests. That's good. They're going to lose this case real easy. Demeanor. I told you there's something really creepy about that one. I don't know. He's like a psychopath. Look, dude. This is Alan. Isn't that the one I zoomed in on? I said mostly that one. But they're all creepy ass.
A salacious federal sex crime.
But then there's him, Oren. Maybe it was Oren. They both look similar, so I don't know.
Case accused of sex trafficking. An attorney representing two of the brothers revealing the two
this guy's just like,
crimes are from 2011.
I really can't think of nothing.
They want a trial. They want to show the world that they are not guilty of the accusations.
Their 38-year-old brother, Tao.
Now, is this their mug shots or is this their, like, photo IDs for their driver's license? I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm like, if this is their mug shots, holy crap. And it's like, smile guys are all, hee. Well, this one's creepy, too. No, I don't like any. This guy has, doesn't he kind of, like, there's this weird, like, resemblance to Trump's son. I don't know what it is, but this one in the middle.
Also charged in the federal investigation. Last week, a judge denied bond over fears he posed a flight risk.
We'll be back.
No. See me, I would have said danger.
As well as their older brother Tom are flight risks.
No.
A risk this Jane Doe thinks, recalling her alleged assault with Oren back in 2013.
Okay, that's a mugshot.
After he asked her on a date at the famed Versace mansion.
Where's the Versace mansion? The Versace people be hanging out with.
He invited me and just, take a tour of the mansion. So I went, and when we were up there, it was total darkness. That's when the assault happened. He threw himself at me and, assaulted me.
Currently, the twins stand accused
Look at
of a
him.
separate
Is he not
2016
freaky?
Miami Beach gang rape, along with their friend, Oha.
Yeah, that's the one.
We're
On my
arrested
honeymoon, they
because
got me.
I know that justice will be served.
And Shrubnik.
No. Oh, I guarantee they have victims all the way probably from high school, junior high. You could tell these are those frat boy type guys that are just like, yeah, and they just do stuff. You could tell right away. I don't know, but this was the average boy that everybody's like, I want my sons to be like them. I'm like, no, they're the one. That's why we got school shootings. That's why we got all kinds of things. These people are terrible. They're the ones that the media will go when they're younger. They'll go, oh, let's talk to the kids and see how weird that other kid was. Yeah, and they'll talk to these guys. And they're like, oh, no, they were totally weirdos and everything. And they're the ones that are, like, bullying them. But at the same time, it also can be these guys being the ones that shoot up the school. And then everyone will go, oh, he was such a nice guy. There's all kinds of weirdness in this because for them to be like that, it's their family completely. It's the same parents that you saw in, and I know I confuse these cases, man, the affluent kid. So where the mom's like overly enabling them, and not necessarily like they're beating them or something, but it could be that they're just enabling them and promoting them to be hellions, like big time. My sons can do no wrong, and or major neglect on top of it, and then they have all this money. Just that alone, where they're just like, we could do anything. And then dad is probably one of those guys, because they're older, so that generation is really bad. We could find out in the same thing where people have not been pulling up in these stories, is the fathers getting them raped at a young age into manhood. That is part of a lot of this stuff too, and it's not being brought up as much. Like, they'll bring up the cases, we see the cases, and then they'll throw them out, or they can go through these court processes, and then the jury does stupid crap, and then they get off or something, or they go to prison, either or. But they don't get into things like that, like the dad thing. Like, when we looked at Russell Brand, I was like, oh my god, awful, he did that. And then then you're seeing other monsters that had the same similar stuff happening, and then they're just abusing each other. And so pay attention to the dynamics, because I just pulled out a Britney Spears one, which was just crazy ass, with these women actually going onto her, and remove Britney from the story and put yourself in that place. And I was like, yeah, that's the thing right there. Because if I were to go, oh yeah, they're totally right, she should stop doing that and do what I want, and then maybe people will respect her. I was like, wow, I never said that. I didn't say that. And it was more like, I know people don't like the way that I go about things, because I purposely try not to run with the pack of people, like purposely. And because those are the bullies. Like, those people are the ones that are the major problem in society. And they're the ones causing all the problems. As you see, I go, how come we can all say, oh, we went to school and we got bullied by all these kids? A lot of people can say that, but then there's actually bullies up in here that are claiming they're victims, but they're not, and they're the bullies, and just crazy stuff. But you could have both cases too, where it's like, they're getting bullied at school and stuff like that. But the issue has to do with home life and how they're equipped and dealing with that stuff. There's just a lot to it, but it wouldn't be from that directly. But a person that bullies, by the real definition of bullying, not, oh, somebody said I look like shit with this lipstick. Like, that's not what that is. They have a disconnect with other humans. And so these are the guys, I could tell right now, like, they're the type that goes and bullies people. I could tell right now, like, you don't even need to know too much in this thing. So because they're rapists, it lets you know, like, all their characteristics of how and what they would do to people and how they would be to people. And they're also capable of manipulating. But these guys seem more of the type that are just out and proud assholes that just don't care, and kind of right off the bat. But for some reason, I'll come into your room and there'll be like tons of guys like this, and there's all these like women like all over them, and I'm like, I don't understand this. They're disgusting, the guys, and you could tell they're just atrocious monsters. And then the girls will do like whatever to be around them and stuff, and then they'll start targeting me. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, I don't want to date them. I don't want to be near them. I don't want any of these things. But then they start just randomly doing stuff like that. It's just a scenario that's happened. So, yeah, I could tell mostly, but, once in a while there's these ones that, you don't think would be like that, because they come off like ultra sweet or shy or some crap. And then they're also part of doing stuff like that. Yeah, quite a cluster of things. But yeah, they need to bring up those things, because it's like, oh, if we find out, like, daddy got them all raped, when they were 12 into manhood, and that's just how they were, it'll give you a more of an explanation to why they're such a cluster F, okay? And that should have never went on, and, like, the parents should have been arrested. You're getting your kids raped? It's just insane to, like, go through this to where everybody's just rationalized this conduct And you know where it came from. I don't know where the raping the son thing came from into manhood. I think we've tried to go down that thing, and like I don't know if it's biblical. I don't know if there's a thing in the religious doctrine as like the sons, because I don't even know the ages of the men. Okay, if all the kids in there, the women in there are like kids, because most of them are when they're talking about them. Maybe the men in there are also kids, and there's something to it. I don't know. I just didn't do a focus on that portion, as I overlooked the kid portion originally too when we were doing studies. It's just something you didn't think about because the wording. And then the pastors never pointed out, like, hey, she's like 12. You know, it's like, of course they're not. The men in the story, I'm not really clear. Yeah, I would have to go jog my memory and go back down this thing. But I'm just trying to find the origin of each of these abuses. We know they all go back extraordinarily far. The knocking people out thing seems to go back quite a bit, but I don't know. I don't even know how to figure this out, because when I'm searching for it, I'm like, how long in history, women getting knocked out by men? And then it's just like, I feel like Google's going to flag, someone's looking to knock out some women. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know how to define the search to look for it, because I have a feeling that it wouldn't even be written in the history. But it was something like I was trying to look for the back history of when did drugs start up, like that thing. But then again, you'll start to figure out, oh, then they used herbal things and other chemical, like it goes into this. And then so I can't quite grasp like where this is happening. So maybe you could kind of go back in the one where they're knocked out asleep. So they did that for the Sleeping Beauty thing, and it goes back into some old history where it shows that the initial story was she was, in a coma type thing, and they had sex, and he raped her basically and had babies. And that was the initial story, and Disney runs this thing. And I was like, okay, so there's that, but how far back does this go? It's probably the whole time in history, I'm assuming. But it's not the addition of giving someone a drug to knock them out, but I guess that's where it could come from, because she's asleep. But in this case, it's I don't know if they knocked anybody out, but basically they're just setting up traps. Like, I've had this. That's why I was like, you go into a place, you're hanging out with some guy, and he keeps trying to get up on you. And just generally in cars and anything. And yeah, that's the plot. It's like, you want to go see a mansion with me? So they're Ted Bundy, because they're not, I mean, you don't know they're going to do that. It's so funny. Men are like, it's like, nobody knows what's in your brain, you wackos. You think, oh, I'm going to go to a mansion to go check it out. You want to go with me? You're not, I mean, who the hell would expect this? So you go, and then it's just all dark, and it's a trap. It's a trap. They're so calculated. It's not accidental. Like, I was mad at the amnesty, because when they were doing the Sleeping Beauty thing, which will just be correlated to this kind of thing, they presented it like the guy is just stupid and dumb, and he has no idea that he's doing something calculated and evil. And it's like, that's not what's happening, you guys. The whole purpose is knowing that she has no consent and they can just do whatever they want. I mean, it is that. And it started off as kids, because the kids knew they were doing something wrong. Because even when the kid that touched me as a, little girl at my babysitter's, he expressed that he knew it was wrong. That was the thing. It's not, I'm so dumb and I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, my mom said I can't do this anymore, something, so don't say anything. Like, he's actually expressing that. And I don't even know what the hell's going on. I don't even know what happened. And then he's like, and because I did this to my sister. He said that. He said this whole thing, and it's just this little kid, right? And no, he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he's like, okay, so we need to start manipulating. So they learn these manipulation things as a kid. And I got really pissed when they pointed out, there was a research thing saying, being manipulative is a sign of intelligence. And I was like, no, sign of being a sociopath. So no. Like, there might be a level of like, I mean, I think every kid goes through this. Like, they're kind of like, okay, I know if I be good, I can get some ice cream, right? Like that type of level of things. But this is like literally ASPD. Like you're doing something harming another human and you know to cover it up. You already got in trouble. So it's not, we're doing a little manipulation on our parents, to get something, to get some, a little bit of that. This is an action of doing criminal behavior on another human, and then they know they're covering it up. And then so when that's not correct, oh God, it's already too late right here because I just got assaulted. And I'm so ignorant as a kid because nobody tells me like, I don't even know what happened. It's not your typical, like, did somebody do this thing to you? It's just like, if you ask me, I wouldn't even know anything. It's not a thing where it's like, I don't know, but they said that, so it's like, all right, I won't get the kid in trouble. Yeah, it was like that, and it's a hot mess. But, yeah, so you're dealing with that. So no, they knew exactly what they're doing. It wasn't, oh, they don't know consent. It's like, oh no, they totally knew, and they're like, F mom, and I'm gonna do it anyway to some other kid. This is very young, you guys. So this conduct here, oh, and another topic related to this is putting kids together. Because that's part of this thing too, right? They had the kid with me. So putting kids together, they're finding out, or we are, that these brothers and sisters are molesting each other. So we have brothers touching other brothers. It was in the Michael Jackson story too, with the sexual abuses with the brothers in a room. So they used to, I guess they used to, I don't know, they all probably lived in a room together. So they have been passing that off as not a big deal, which is crazy. So this family obviously had, I mean, these two brothers are probably going at it with each other because they're doing rape conduct alongside each other. So that is disturbing. So that probably goes into their childhood. I don't know. I mean, they seem like a rich family. I don't know. But maybe they were enclosed in a room together. Like, they don't think any of this stuff is going on, and it is. And again, when they heard stuff, they're like, it's not sexual. That's gross. We won't put our mind there to even stop this, okay? They're just brothers. It wouldn't be anything like that. So they're all like touching each other or, whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is that case, man. The too close. The brothers that are too close. The sexually abusive brothers with each other. And raping people. So it tells me about their parents, doesn't it? Doesn't it tell you guys about their parents? Like, there's this level of massive neglect. You pull it from the actions that they're doing and how that could come about. And then you could tell the parents are negligent. Because it's not a thing that it's like they turn 20 and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's rape together, bros. That's disgusting. It's way back. Way, way back.